Hey team, so the next technique we're going to look at is the omoplata, the basic omoplata from the full guard, right, which is kind of the typical setup position for this move. Okay? So the omoplata is a shoulder lock using the legs to lock it up, right? And it kind of just means shoulder in Portuguese, right? So the omoplata is quite a tricky move, and I'll show you some prerequisites you can work on in your own time shortly, right? But let's first just get a grip at what it looks like. So the key kind of thing here is the omoplata, my leg's gonna come over the shoulder, my feet are gonna move out to one side, my body's gonna lock her arm in the position, I'm gonna lean forward and use my legs and my hips to attack the shoulder here, all right? So the first thing that I want you guys to work on before we add in those steps is just a little bit of mobility. So being able to go from one side with both feet facing in the same direction and then circling them around to a seated position and then feet to the opposite side, all right? So just being able to lock in that position there, all right? Because we're gonna move into that from on our back and it's not gonna be quite the way you think, all right? So I need to basically get a shoulder isolated that I want to start to attack, right? There's lots of different ways you could do this. We could do it as simple as just establishing wrist control on that arm. And let's start with that. It'll be a little bit loose, which might help you get it in like a flow rolling scenario, and later on we can tighten it up, right? So I'm gonna open up a little bit of space underneath that arm. And the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my legs. I'm gonna place one foot on the hip, just like in our armbar series. And I'm gonna cut an angle to the side, also like we did in the armbar. So I push off, my leg's gonna come up to the back, except for the arm that I'm controlling is the opposite arm to what we did in the armbar sequence, all right? So the leg positioning is still the same. Wrist control, foot on the hip, supporting leg's gonna shoot up nice and high and a big cut, and then I'm gonna whip that foot past their head and I'm gonna turn a little bit further, almost so that my spine is running parallel with my partner, all right? My arm that was on wrist control, I need to be able to replace this one and lock her arm in against my body. So see this little fold here between my leg and my tummy? I want her arm to be nestled nicely in that place, and I'm gonna kick my leg forward and sit up. And I basically sit in and hug my leg, and that's gonna keep her arm pinched in the same spot. That's gonna allow my arm to free up to start to control her hips, all right? Alternatively, once I've turned the corner here, my leg comes over the head, I can buy an extra little bit of time by bringing my second or supporting hand in to control the wrist and control the hips before I sit up, all right? It really kind of depends on how quick you think your partner's gonna be to try and roll out. And the roll out of the omoplata is kind of the first escape we wanna shut down. Once I've managed to sit on my partner and do that, I need to get my hips out to that side. So I do the same drill as before, and I walk away and I try to get my knees down to the mat, okay? Notice that it's a little bit different to what you may have been expecting. My feet are away from my partner and I'm leaning towards my partner. What feels natural as everyone's starting is their legs are coming in, they wanna lean away. But in fact, once I've got control of that arm, my legs wanna work to the outside and I wanna lean in. My knees should be driving down, pinning their shoulder hard to the mat. Rose is struggling a little bit here for flexibility, so you can see she's wriggling around, she's a little bit uncomfortable. You may have a much more flexible partner, in which case I'd expect this to be resting straight on the floor, all right? Once I can get to the omoplata position, the finish is about lifting my hips forward and over. Remembering that the omoplata is like a kimura or figure four, but just done with my legs and my hips instead of my arms. So her wrist needs to track here, all the way to the ground ideally, right? So I'm gonna lift my hips forward and lean forward, and she taps. Obviously I'm gonna let go, but if it, just stay here, imagine that she was really flexible, my hips would go all the way forward and I'd aim to put them on the floor down here, right? Which would mean that her arm will have fully rotated up behind her back.